So I just want to go over each of the problems briefly here, and we could discuss it later. 7 squared of 50 minus 8 squared of 5 plus 3 squared of 2. Notice that the 50 can be written as 5 times 5 times 2. So then it becomes 7. You bring the 5 out, so it's 7 times 5 squared of 2. This is going to come down the same. This is going to come down the same. When you have the same radicand situation, you can actually add like terms. So 35 plus 3 is 38. And then this just comes down as negative 8 square root of 5. So that's the first problem. You have to prime factorize and then see if you have any like terms and add them together. Over here, if you have square root of 40 over 2, and then you have this setup, so you basically can take out what they, this is a square root, so you need 2 of them to come out. So that's how you get this 2 out here. But actually, I just realized these 2's cancel. I was doing this in a hurry, and I should have caught that. So that's square root of 10. So basically, this is just going to remain 2 times 5 inside the radical, and then the 2's on the outside cancel. Over here, you have 7 times 7 times... Okay, actually, here they gave you 7x squared of 3, and they asked you what is over here. Well, in order for this to be 7 and x on this side, you had to have 7 squared on the left side, and you also had to have x squared on the left side, because then when you solved it, it came out of the radical. This one we can talk about more for sure. This one, and this one. They all use the same principle. You basically look at what the radical is and say you needed to have 2 to the 4th in order for this to be 2 on this side. So that's how you set it up. 3x squared over 3 is equal to 40. You're solving for x. That's what's going on here. And it starts out 3x squared over 3, and then x squared is equal to 40 over 3, and then you basically use prime factorization, and the answer comes down to this, because you have to rationalize the denominator. Okay, then you have this one, 4x squared plus 10 is equal to 109. Subtract 10 from both sides, divide both sides by 4, take the square root of both sides, and that's how you solve this one. Here you have to add 12 to both sides, and then prime factorize 12 to get that answer. This is technically plus or minus. I don't know how picky they are on that, but that would be plus or minus. Okay, let's look at the next page. Basically, 2x squared plus 6 is equal to negative 12. You subtract 6 from both sides, you get negative 18 on the right, and then use prime factorization. I don't know if you've learned imaginary numbers, so I left it like this, but technically this should be, you could change that to an I. If you haven't learned imaginary numbers, I wouldn't worry about that. X squared minus 9 is equal to 27. You add 9 to both sides, and then you basically square root 36. This is basically you need to prime factorize that, and then add like terms, and this is what you get. So I would put them together, prime factorize, and you get number 10. Number 11, you have the 8 times 2 is 16, which is 4, right? The square root of that is 4. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. 6 square root of 20, you prime factorize 20, and you always bring out the number multiplied by what's in front. This is, you basically gather all the things in the radical, put them in one radical, and then put the things outside the radical to multiply. And that's how you get the answer to be 392. We have this, you have to distribute, and you get this. And then the last one, you distribute as well. You get 5 square root of 6 plus 3, square root of 3 will just become 3. Okay, the last set of problems here. We have square root of 3 over square root of 8. You basically multiply by the square root of 8. It's called rationalizing the denominator. So we get square root of 24 over 8. And that you can prime factorize, and that becomes 2 square root of 6 over 8, which is 1 over 4 square root of 6. Because the 2 and the 8 can interact. Here we have square root of 75 over 8. You prime factorize the top and the bottom, and that will bring you here 5 square root of 3 over 2 square root of 2. And then you have to prime factorize, you have to rationalize the denominator. 19, you rationalize the denominator, square root of 2 over square root of 2. And that's how you get that answer. 20, you multiply top and bottom by square root of 3 over square root of 3. 21, you just square root of 64 is 8, and the top is just square root of 17. So I'll send the notes along. Let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to discussing radicals more.